Well, it's a good evening in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, and as saying to our radio audience, it's the last day of winter at 25 degrees, and of course, our friends in the UK are coming out of summer, going to head for autumn. Not too sure if they've got the same heat, but or the same temperatures, but we'll soon find out. As you know, right at the very top, I'm down under, so that she's up under. None other than Andrena, and our guest is in the middle. And I said, well, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Jeffrey, and good morning to everybody that's listening to Dreaming the New Dream or listening on any of the replays. So today we are on the last day of August, and it's pouring with rain here, and I think it's about 13 degrees. I've even got the fire on at the moment, so need I say any more? Anyway, it's my great pleasure to welcome Claire Donovan this morning, Shamanic medicine woman in Dorset. So welcome, Claire, and thank you for agreeing to be our guest this morning.
Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody. Hello, great pleasure.
So I have to say that I have been to the Merkabah Retreat. I got taken by a friend and I went to the one of your drummings, and there wasn't many of us there, and it wasn't long after I had the accident, and I remember I laying on the floor and I was in agony. But we had a beautiful drumming with Steve Cloudsong, and it was a very magical evening. And I loved your space. I love the retreat that you've got there. It's absolutely beautiful. It's on a ley line. It's got all sorts of magical things there. So what I would like to know, and I'm going to jump in straight away, how did you find it? How did you and Matt find the Merkabah, and how did it all really start?
Well, we bought the property right back in 2001, and I already had a house. I lived near Wimborne, and I saw this property advertised, and I really wanted some land. So it was in a little village called Winterbourne Houghton. I'd never heard of it. I knew Blandford, obviously, so we came over here. And the estate agent brought me up the drive, and I started to get tingly coming up the drive. And then we just stood literally in the outside patio of the house, and it was like a bolt just hit me. It was like, woof. And it was just like, oh my God, I'm home. This is it. I'm home. I have to live here. I have to live here. And I didn't go into the house. I didn't need to. I said, yeah, I want it. I want it. And it was going to auction, I think in about 6 or 7 weeks' time from that point. And I went home and we put our house on the market and we got a buyer. And then we lost the buyer, but the house was still going to auction. So we went through all the rigmaroles of going and buying it. And 20 minutes before it went to auction, the deal went through. I already had a house. The sale of it had fallen through. So we had to bridging loan to get this. But I just knew that I would be okay. I mean, after we bought it, it was 9/11 happened. Yeah. And of course, everyone thought it was going to be a global disaster and everything. And I remember watching the news and the sweat literally going down my back, thinking, wow. Oh my God. But as soon as it went through and I came over here, I just went out and I just led on the land. And it just felt so right. It just felt so right. And at that point, it wasn't until we actually had the key in our hand that I went into the house. I kind of knew what it was like from the estate agents.
Yeah.
I didn't care. It was just the land. And then me and Matt, years later, when it was locked down, I was doing yoga and things like that. I've always been shamanic, always. But I was doing yoga and I thought, this is a bit too clinical. I don't like these gym yoga. So I trained to be a yoga teacher. And I asked Matt, I said, Matt, do you think you could build me like a little something in the garden so I can just do some classes maybe out there? So this is our shed, which isn't a shed. And it just went to this like big building. And then we said, well, we could have people here. Let's make it a retreat. I really want to do that. And we really wanted to share the space because the land is so special. And when you've got something like that, you just want to share it. I just wanted everybody to come here and experience that feeling of the ancestors. It's so rich in, we've got hill forts there, all around us. And this, we put a crystal floor, when we built it, we put a crystal floor in. So I'm sat here on a crystal grid. And Matt, when he built the 4 pillars, he put crystals under the 4 pillars that it stands on. And we've got black tourmaline, clear, obviously to suck any negativity out of the room. Then we've got clear quartz to magnify everything. We've got amethyst to connect you to spirit and to relax you. And rose quartz to connect that beautiful heart energy. So when you lie in here, you literally feel the love coming up from the floor. And then we've got copper everywhere that when I play the gongs, they connect to the ley line, and it's literally like, it literally buzzes through you. So it's incredible. And then Matt has literally, and myself and another guy, a friend of ours, have literally built it ourselves with these bare hands from the ground up, basically.
Well, if Matt wants to build me a shed similar to yours, I'd be very happy. Tell him.
I think he's done with sheds.
I'm sure.
I'm sure. But yeah, he's just about to build a crystal cave here, which we're very, very excited about. And we're going to dig it into the land, into the hill at the top. We had to find the right place for it. So it's going into the hill, right into the land at the top. So it's by the fire pit. So it sees the moon in its cycle across the sky. So from the rising of the moon in the east, you can see it from that spot, and it goes right the way across until it sets in the west.
Magic.
So,
yeah, I know it's a very magical place, and I know I came to a goddess day as well. That was really lovely. I can't remember, what was there, about 25 women there?
No, there was 70.
Oh, was it? Oh, right. It's just a bit off there. It's been a long life since then. And I know, you did all sorts there. There was healing, there was gonging, there was singing, there was chanting. And it was lovely. I so enjoyed it. And
oh, there you are.
Oh, God. Looks like I'm holding a lemon. I think it was some sort of rattle.
It was, yeah. She gave us these little rattles, didn't she, Magdalena?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Magdalena. And yeah, because I went to something first in another wood not far where I can't remember what it's called now. And that's where I met Magdalena.
There's something woods. Yeah, it's literally just over the hill. The 2 girls that run it are lovely. Yeah. Yeah,
and then I met oh gosh, the other lady that does sound. I've forgotten her name a minute. And it was through her, she took me to yours.
Diane, so beautiful Diane George.
Oh yeah, Diane, that's it. Yeah. And yeah, so I met some lovely ladies at your event. And what was I going to say about it? Yeah, for anybody that's never been, it's absolute magical space. You can just feel the energy when you go in. You just feel the love of the place, and it's like the land holds you in it completely in that energy. And I know, like with the drumming, the sound, it just, oh my God, I can't wait to do another drum in there, because that was just magical. I haven't done yoga there yet. But anyway, tell us about your shamanic work, because not everybody understands what a shamanic person does, or medicine woman. So I know you've said you've always been shamanic, but for people that don't really know what shamanic is, would you like to explain a little more?
So the shamans, we are what we call the walkers between the worlds. So we work with spirit, very much with spirit and energy. So we see everything has an energy. The gongs have an energy. My pen has an energy. My drum has an energy. Everything is buzzing on an energetic level. And when you're if people project a negative energy towards you, then we see it manifest as something physical in your body. So from a healing perspective, from the shamanic medicine, we remove blockages from your energy systems in the body. So I might see on someone's heart space, I might see concrete blocks. I've seen swords. I've seen a stake on fire, all sorts of things. It'll manifest as something, and it's usually some sort of metaphor as to what's going on with the person. So we remove that, and we use the light from the soul star, and we bring that down, and we fill the space with light. We first of all clear it, we blow it into the fire, and then we fill that space with light. We then sew it up, not really, but sew it up.
Yeah.
And we bring the light down, and we smooth the space, and we seal that space so nothing else can get into that space. So that's what we call an energetic healing. But when we start to heal, I go into my body and I step out. So I'll take myself, and my ego goes over and sits in the corner, and then we bring in our guides, and we actually bring in spirit. So it's a bit like trance mediumship, but not that you take over the whole face and things like that. So we'll bring the spirits into us, and it's through us that they work. So it's not me, Claire, I'm sat in the corner. It's the spirits and the guides of myself, and maybe the person that I'm working on, that will come in and work with them. We work with animal guides, very much with animal spirits, and we work with the three worlds. So shamanically, we work with the lower world, and the lower world is where you would go to ask questions, things that you need answers for. So say I was going to work on somebody, I might go to the lower world just to have a journey with them and find out all about them. So in the lower world, we work with plants and we work with animal spirits. Now, animal spirits are just spirit in an animal form, but those animals represent different powers, different attributes, different strengths. So we use the strengths of the animals. So a lion brings in its own strength, whatever you see. So we'll journey to the lower world. We'll find our animal guide, or a new animal would appear, and it's all very significant. And then we will journey while the drum's beating. To that journey, we will sit and we'll talk to the animals, we'll find the answers and bring them back up, and maybe share them with the person, or it might be just for me personally. I can also go to the lower world for healing as well. Then we have the middle world, and the middle world is here and now. So that would be if I wanted to, I guess you might call it remote viewing. It's the same sort of thing. So I will connect to my guides, and they will take me somewhere in the here and now. Or if it's something I need to solve in the now, if I've got, say you've got a dispute with someone and you're feeling a little bit hurt, I can actually go and see what's going on with them and find out, come back. If I'm doing a house clearing, again, middle world, just to see what's there that day, there and then. Upper world is where we connect with our spirit guides. So our teachers in spirit are in the upper world. So I would visit the upper world for lessons to have the answer to spiritual questions, things of learning. That's where the halls of learning are for us as well. So we connect to the upper world for the learning, and to connect with our beautiful spirit guides. The angelic realms are all in the upper world. Upper world is quite architectural, whereas the lower world is very much plants, woodlands, water. The upper world is quite architectural. You'll always see some sort of building or some sort of structure when you get up there, and that's how you know where you are. You might walk through a street with beautiful temples, but there will always be some structure of some angelic structure. It's really quite amazing. So we work with those three worlds, and we have to go into that spirit world, step out of this world and go into the realms of spirit to be able to work. So that's why they call us the walkers between the worlds, because we're then suspended between the two dimensions, if you like. We also work with the elementals. That's a very big part of shamanism, is elementals, which I love. They're very naughty. They're very mischievous. They're not always good. They can be quite and bringing their own energy. I mean, I do a lot of work. I take my shamanic people out into the woods. I've always loved as a child being in the woods and being with the trees. And I've always talked to the stones and the trees, and just looking up at a tree and watching the sun come through the leaves. There's something so magical about the woodlands and all their seasons, all the seasons. I've always loved that. I've always loved being outside. We lived in town when I was a child, and I just longed for the countryside. I longed to live there. I hated where I lived right from the start. And I remember I used to lie in bed at night, and if I had to see the stars, and they were like my friends, and I just knew that I came from there, and that was my real family. I used to look at my earth family and think, Mum and Dad, why am I doing this? It's really weird. And I never felt connected to them. Sorry, everybody. Sorry. They knew that. I just never felt it. But when I looked at the stars and I could connect to the stars and I could be outside and be on the land, and I felt like me. I really felt like me. And years later, I worked with a woman, and I worked, I guess you'd call it on a witchy level maybe, or a wise woman. And it just all went click, 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 click. And she said, why don't you're shamanic, why don't you train to be a shaman? So it was only recently that I actually just went through the training to get the certificate so that I could then be a shamanic practitioner or medicine woman, to be able to share that with people and bring that work. And it's such rewarding work. I absolutely love it. I love it, love it, love it. To be able to have someone come into my space who people are so traumatized at the moment. I think a lot of people are going through deep trauma. I think it's all coming up because we're obviously ascending to the next level. So all of the stuff has to come out in order for everyone to go on to the next ascension. So people are coming to me, and I'm able to take that out of them and send them away, remove blockages. Once you've had blockages removed, you'll go shoo, and you will just be able to go on your path. Things will come in, financial gain, partners, all sorts of things. I'm so excited you started. I'm not going to stop now.
No, that's fine. Because we know excuse me, we know bits, about the shamanic way and shamans, and and I've done different things over the years. But it's always lovely, for you to share your way and how you do it now. So was that at our Goddess Day?
Oh, that was so lovely. So lovely. We work with the goddesses. I work with the goddesses a lot. The Wheel of the Year. You can see them all behind me. We have a goddess for each season. It's very ancestral. Our ancestors would have worshipped the goddess. We're just coming into, I don't know if you can see the orange one over there behind me. That's Bamba. She's just about to come in, and she's the goddess of the harvest. And she brings in this beautiful Mother Earth energy. So the one before her, Kerr, which she's still here, she's the pregnant goddess. So she's pregnant with all the seeds that have been sown throughout the start of the year. She's pregnant with the abundance of the land. So she holds that. And you would go to her to ask her to bring in that abundance. And then Bamba comes in autumn equinox, my favorite. And she brings in that harvest, that celebration, that feasting, and the sharing. Harvest is all about sharing what we've brought into our homes. Harvest Festival, as pagans or shamans or witches, it was for bringing in the food to fill your larder for the cold, hard winter. But part of your abundance and your gratitude would be to share that with somebody in the village who was maybe on their own, or poorer families that didn't have so much. So you would lay a table for feasting and just bring in everybody that had helped you to bring in that harvest, or like I say, people that were less fortunate. And that's what it's about. So it's quite important at that time, at autumn equinox, to have a time of feasting for everyone to come to that ceremony or fire ceremony and bring something from their harvest, no matter what it is, whether it's a crystal, a stick, a stone. Oh, that's so nice. And yeah, and to celebrate together for that abundance and to give gratitude. It's a very much a time of lighting fires on the hills. They would have lit fires to celebrate that time. Yeah, very special, very special.
So I know, because you've got accommodation linked to the retreat as well, haven't you? How many rooms, or if people are coming, how many can you hold?
So we've got 2 houses. We've got Downview Farm, which is the main farmhouse, and that has 6 bedrooms, and that can sleep 11 people if people share rooms. They've got ensuite bathrooms. We've got a big dining room, a big lounge, a conservatory, a kitchen where the catering staff will do your cooking. We've got caterers that we can recommend. Sometimes people bring their own chefs. And the Shala, we've got an indoor pool as well. It's a bit luxury. We're not down in the dirt. Even though I'm a shaman, I like a little bit of luxury. So we've got a heated indoor pool. We've got an infrared heated sauna. And we've got hot tubs as well. So there's 2 hot tubs, 2 saunas, and an indoor pool if you hire the whole space. And then we have Houghton Lodge. Now, we developed Houghton Lodge for guests with disabilities. That's what it was originally designed for. We've run them as holiday lets for the last sort of 20 years. And it's a beautiful open plan house, but it's got very subtle ramps. If you really look, you can see the ramp. So if someone was in a wheelchair, it's totally accessible without being obvious. And there's bathrooms that are wet rooms and things like that. That one's got 5 bedrooms, and that can sleep 10 people in there if sharing.
Yeah.
And that's got its own. Every house has a fire pit. So we've got 3 fire pits altogether. Shaman, love a bit of fire. So we've got the main one at the Merkabah Retreat, which is here. And then we've got one in the back garden of Downview Farm. So when you're dining, you can open the doors and you can see the fire while you're eating if you wanted to do a ceremony like that. Then Houghton Lodge, Matt planted a woodland, a little tiny woodland, and we've got this gorgeous fire pit in the woodland, which again sees the moon rising. So that's quite a nice one for summer moon ceremonies, because the moon rising comes straight in on that fire pit. And we've got goats which live in an ark, which my husband also built. It really is an ark. And then we've got sheep that we rescued as well, and we've got a horse and a lot of rescued chickens. So there's a lot of animal energy around here too, and a beautiful Frisian stallion called Kyla Enns, who is the most gorgeous soul. So he also lives here, but he's kind of retired now. But he's a very spiritual, our horse. So you kind of, when you hire the space for a retreat, you get both houses if you want. You can just hire one. Then you get the shala, the fire pit. We've got bell tents for meditation. We've got a horse box, which is our beauty room. We've also got a couple of caravans, which you can also hire. We've got Betsy, who's really cute. And we've got the bitch, who's a bit posh. She's a bit like our trailer, so we call them Betsy and the bitch. And then we've got extra accommodation. A friend of mine runs a beautiful Airbnb across the road, 2 rooms there. And my friend next door's got a log cabin. Plenty of space.
Perfect. Yeah. So if anybody was looking for a space to do any work or workshops or one-on-ones, I highly recommend the Merkabah. It is absolutely beautiful. It really is. So yeah,
we do retreats as well. You can just hire it for the day, and you can just hire it by the hour if you want to use this space that I'm in now. You can just hire it by the hour as well. We do that too.
Yeah. So we've got a ceremony going on tonight, haven't we? Which I'm going to.
The lovely Magdalena with drum and chant. We're having that in the Shala now because it's absolutely sodden outside.
Yeah.
So we're going to have it in the Shala with a cacao ceremony to start. And Magdalena writes her own songs, so it's be the most beautiful music and voice, which Andrena, you're going to love. And it's just a time it just brings a little bit of that childlike sort of elemental joy. I think it brings in the elementals when you sing together like that and you use the drum and you chant. I think it brings in all the elements of the land and the sky. and all of those spirits. It just feels so lovely. And to contain it in this space, we'll be boiling. We'll be like,
yeah. We'll worry about that later. Oh gosh. Right. So how did, this is Matt's work. I was going to say, how did you and Matt meet? Because you've been together quite a while now, haven't you?
I have known Matt because I'm 4 years older than Matt, and 4 years doesn't seem a lot, but when he was at school, I was in my sort of late teens, early 20s, and at that time I owned a hairdressing salon, and Matt used to come and have his hair cut after school by me. So I've known the family for years, Matt's family, Matt's brother. I've known Jamie for, 30, 40 years. So I used to go up to Matt's house quite a bit. Their house was near our school. So sometimes in our lunch hour, we would go back to Matt's house and hang out. So I've always known Matt, but he was always very much the little brother, and I never really thought much about him. And then when we started making the houses into holiday lets, I worked with Matt, who did the web. Oh, there he is, painting her. I worked with him because he's an artist, and he's also a graphic designer. So he started off to design my website for me. And we just fell in love with each other. It was just almost, I don't know, when you get with your person, and I'm quite, whereas Matt's really, and it was like being in his presence for me was like very calming. You can see how he's working there on the screen. He's very calm. He's very connected. I guess he's my grounding, and I'm his elevation, if you like. It's a good mix. But yeah, we just fell in love, and he went on holiday. I didn't, we kind of realized something was happening, and he went away, and we both really missed each other. When he came back, that was kind of it. And when he kissed me, I really saw stars. It was like, and then
don't do that very often.
Yeah, no. Well, we've been together a while now. But yeah, and it just, that was it. Once we'd sort of kind of stepped over that friend threshold, that was it. And within 3 or 4 months, we were living together, and we've never talked about it yet, have we? He's here. He's in the background.
Yeah, I know he's there.
We've still not ever talked about living together. I found a house in the village away from here, and I walked in the door and I said, "Yeah, have it, thank you." It's a dear little cottage, and he hadn't even seen it. I said, "We've got a house." I thought it was a house, and we just moved in, and it's lovely. It's our little home. We don't live here, obviously, because this is our business. And yeah, that's it. And we got married 7 years ago, and we had look, there's the stone circle. That's the Valley of the Stones.
Is it? Oh. Well, I'm definitely going to go there then.
Yeah, that's Lionsgate. That was on the Lionsgate tour. We went down, and that was playing with his drone, and I got bored of him playing with his drone, so I just got on with it. And then, so that was, he just naturally filmed it, which was really lovely. And from that point, so many things happened to me. So many different things came in. I now see colours around people. I did a workshop just after that. It was a yoga workshop, actually, which I do, but it wasn't mine. And I kept looking around the room, colours around people. Looking again, and yeah, I can see colours around people's heads and things now, and know how they're feeling, but only since then. So it's a truly magical place. I think when you work with the ancestors and you give gratitude, which is what I'm doing there, I'm clearing the space of any energies which might have been brought in, and you give thanks and you leave them offerings, they will give you back so much as well. You'll get so many gifts, spiritual gifts, from going out onto the land and just giving it some offerings and saying thank you, really. And that's what that was all about. And it was another horrible day, but it was misty. It was misty, so it was really really atmospheric. It was amazing. I think your drone got wet, didn't it? But it was incredible. There's my dogs as well. I always take the dogs with me. They came too, but oh yeah, it's really, really special place. You really must go. The sea is literally just over the top of that hill, so you've got all the elements in that one place. It's amazing. So gorgeous.
Another thing on my to-do list. Keeps growing and growing.
Nobody knows how the stones got there because they're nowhere else around or any stones. It's just in this valley. And if you look from above, you can see lots of different like
smaller circles.
Structures, yeah. And then above that on the hill a little bit further up is another big circle. So yeah, I haven't really worked out how it all got there. But it literally is a valley from the top of the hill, which goes down from the sea. It goes right the way down to the road, the main road to Bridport. And there's a little stone circle. I don't know if you've seen it there. As you come over the hill from Dorchester, by the side of the road, it's so sad. There's this big old oak tree. And around the oak tree are these standing stones, about 6 foot high, a little tiny circle. And it's from there that it goes directly back to the Valley of the Stones. So there must have been something really
all the way through or something.
You can feel it when you're
there. Right. What else was I going to ask you? So so obviously you're very busy with people booking it and the different workshops you do and your yoga. So what things have you got coming up next?
Oh, goodness. September is very exciting. We've got some residential retreats coming up in September. People are booking. I've got a wonderful, with a friend of mine, a menopause retreat, which is all about Shamanic, all about the menopause, all about bringing in a holistic approach to the menopause. I mean, so many women are suffering. So it's about a little bit about yoga, breathing techniques, meditation to help. That's in the morning, nutritional advice, yoga class. And then in the afternoon, we're taking the shamanic approach. I'm giving a womb blessing, which is going to connect people to their inner self. Obviously, for the feminine, the womb is really important. Whether you've got one or not, it doesn't matter. It's still the space. We're going to do a shamanic journey. We're having a cacao ceremony to connect to the heart. And then we're going to finish off with a shamanic gong bath. So the morning is learning, exploring, talking, sharing, and the afternoon is going to be shamanic and just a really lovely, nurturing space to give the women a really sense of relaxation when they leave. So that's the 16th of September. And then on the 30th and the 1st of October, I have 2 workshops. One is a goddess workshop on the Saturday, and on the Sunday is a whole day shamanic workshop. So that's the 2 in September as well. And then October the 27th, I have my own residential retreat, which is called the Shamanic Journey. And that's all about teaching people how to journey, how to take their own journeys, how to explore the shamanic journey. Also, that time of year is Samhain or Halloween. And that's the time when the veil between the two worlds are at their thinnest. So the connection to spirit is really poignant. And it's a time to worship the ancestors and give gratitude to our ancestors. And obviously you've heard of Day of the Dead. Same sort of thing. Our Samhain, Halloween is like Day of the Dead. So I'm bringing in for one of the evenings, because we're going to be connecting to spirit shamanically. But for one evening, I wanted people to experience connecting to spirit, actual spirit, through a medium. So they're going to have a demonstration and a connection, and messages are going to come through from their family, ancestors, actually through a medium. So they'll see the two sides of working with spirit. And also they can have readings on that evening. So it's going to be a really lovely day, all about the ancestors. We bring photographs in of our ancestors. We make an altar. We give thanks and gratitude. It's really quite beautiful. Cacao ceremony. And then the last day is all about going out onto the land to the stone circles and connecting to the ancestors. Lots of relaxation, lots of bringing in that beautiful energy. It's about, someone said to me, what would it be for you? And I said, I think it would be me about 10 years ago when I wanted to find my tribe, and I wanted to be with a group of people that I felt I belonged to. You know, when you've got friends that kind of don't get you and they think you're a bit weird, but when you're with your tribe, it's great because you can relax, you can be you can use your voice. I can chant, I can drum. No one thinks it's weird. And it's going to be that sort of space where we're going to all bring like-minded people together that feel drawn to the land, that feel drawn to exploring the shamanic way, really.
And that's needed more now than ever, more important, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it is. It is. And I think people are very interested in the shamanic way. So it's a lovely introduction to shamanism. A lovely start for people who know nothing about it, or for people who know lots about it. It's for everyone, you know. It doesn't matter what stage you're at. It will suit everybody. It'll be very nurturing.
So have you got some plans to do shamanic trainings after you've done the introduction?
Yeah, I have a teacher that I went to for my shamanic training, and haven't been called for that yet. I'm starting off with teaching the journey because I'm very passionate about the shamanic journey and I really love it. And I'm happy with doing my one-to-one work at the moment. But maybe that's something that I will do in the future is to teach shame. I mean, I've been taught the Munai Key rites, which is a lovely, they're the rites that have been passed down through the ancestors, through the shamanic line from the North American Indians point of view. And we get the Star Keepers Rite, which connects you to the Star People, the Day Keepers Rite, which is all about building altars, the Healers Rite. There's lots of them, the Bands of Power, but I am trained to do that. So I think next year maybe I will start to do some teaching.
And tell us about your crystal cave that you're building. How's that coming into being?
Oh, well, obviously I work a lot with crystals and the land, and how did we decide to build a crystal cave? Do you know what? I don't know. Maybe it wasn't from us. It's almost like we woke up one day and we're like, we need to build a crystal cave. Let's do it. Let's build a crystal cave so that people can come. Oh, God, I'm cold. Hello. So people can come, and we're going to make it quite intimate space. So it'll be big enough for 2 beds to lie in the space. So people can just lie there, listen to soft music, and just connect with these beautiful beings, these beautiful energetic beings from deep within our earth that are thousands, millions of years old, that have come from deep inside the earth when it was created. And we're privileged enough to have over a ton of these things, these beautiful beings. And they'll surround the walls of the cave. They'll be everywhere in the floor. And it'll be very softly lit with natural light, like candles, no electricity, a wood burner, bringing in the fire energy, bringing in the earth. We'll have a light from the ceiling to bring in the energy of the stars and the sky. So all the elements will be there. And it's just going to be so powerful to either just sit, or for me to be able to sometimes bring in a shamanic healing into that cave if I feel it's needed. We had them out on the drive the other day. Matt brought them home, and I was surrounded by all these beautiful beings of crystal. And it honestly, right to the tips of my fingers, it was like, whoa! You know, they were so powerful. So I'm just so excited. Matt, why are you sat there and you need to be on your digger? Get going, please, mate. Get going. Stop. We found a space where we're going to do it, and we're going right into the earth, right deep into the earth. So you'll be surrounded by that beautiful Mother Earth, ancestral, elemental energy, right deep down, but then bringing these beautiful crystals back almost to their homely environment, because they're used to being in the earth, but then also connect them through the roof to the sky as well. So this would be very powerful.
Yes. So Have you got an estimated time that you would like it ready by?
Yeah, next week. Tomorrow. I don't know. We've got to wait. We've got retreats in September. So we can't go digging up the land when people are going to be here working and hiring the space. So I think from the sort of end of September, Matt's itching to get going. He tried to change the position of it yesterday so he could get his digger out. And I said, no, it needs to be there. It needs to be there. So yeah, we have to wait to the end of September. So hopefully October, November time, but it will definitely be open for our second birthday on the 8th of January, when we always have a weekend of celebration. So we have a big festival on the 8th of January for 2 days, and we'll be definitely opening the Crystal Cave then.
Amazing. And it's good that you've got them out now with this blue full moon energy and the rains to cleanse them, eh?
I know, exactly. Oh, don't worry, they're out on every full moon. Yeah, they're really powered up. It's amazing. Very exciting.
So, I see you riding there, Matt. There is Matt still there, or I mean,
yeah,
just winding him up?
No.
I just wanted to make sure that I'm looking after the male here. I mean, you know.
Yeah, you are.
There's a lot of goddess energy going here, and Matt needs a bit of male stuff here. So obviously you learnt the 4 words, and those 4 words were I do, yes, dare. So you follow his instructions then, or what?
What was that?
Do you follow his instructions after you learnt the words I do, yes, dare?
Yeah.
We just need a bit of balance in our conversation here today.
Do I do as I'm told, Matt?
Of course you do.
But Matt's really lovely. Matt, he doesn't let me get away with it. I do get told to sit down, no, occasionally. But
Calm down.
I calm down. But he's just so clever. I mean, I'm very, very lucky. He's really clever, really talented. Not only is he a talented artist, but he's also now a talented builder. He can build chalas and crystal caves. So I mean, you really enjoy the planning, don't you?
It's just the creativity of it. Yeah.
It's the creativity, like it says.
Sorry, this place.
He can come on screen, you know, tell him.
Bring him in.
See you now. Come here.
I'm going flat on the floor.
He's let down. Let's see the difference.
Yeah. Say no more. Hi, Matt.
Hiya. This place it's just changed so many people's lives. It's been incredible.
And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Being change makers.
Yeah. And I don't know, why did we build it?
It was this shed. I don't know. It's like the Crystal Cave, like you said. What I don't remember sitting down with you and planning it. Do you? We just kind of woke up one morning and it was literally like that. We're like, build a Crystal Cave. Yeah, let's do it. And then Matt did. That's what he built.
Yeah,
and then Matt did some work. He works for a company, a crystal company. And Matt did some work for them, and they said, well, "That's it. Their illustrations." Well, you tell them.
Well, I did some illustrations, and then the company, the chap who owns it, has become a really good friend, and so we sort of like hit off ideas and stuff, and said, "I'll do you a deal," and I've got a opportunity to get all these crystals, and so I did these illustrations, and then we had a huge shipment of crystals arrive. I was like, great, we've just got to do it, haven't we?
It's from a family-run mine in South America, so we know that they're ethically sourced, so we're quite happy about that. And they said to Matt, you do the artwork, we know that you want to do your crystal cave. We didn't have any crystals. We didn't have a clue where we were going to get them. And then he said, we really are very excited about this and we'd like to be involved. So Matt got paid in crystals, and I'm very lucky that Matt got paid in crystals.
So yeah, it's going to be the largest in the UK. The Crystal Cave is largest in the UK.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
it's not built yet. I'd say that.
The amount of crystals.
The amount of crystals. Of course, yeah.
But it's really exciting. So we've just got to get it right, position it right, and I'm drawing it all in my head at the moment. I'm planning it all out in my head, and then we just go and do it.
I let Matt do the plan, and then we have a little argument because I don't maybe like something he's done. I go, no, we're not having that, and then we calm down and then we sort it out, don't we?
Usually ends up how I want.
Well, I can't argue too much with the creator because he's the artistic side of the partnership. I need to tell you about the trees in the Shala here as well. If you look at the picture of the Shala with the trees that are alight, by the doors we've got these trees. And they were from the very first bouquet that Matt gave me when we were together. And we planted them on the land here, and they grew into 2 beautiful curly willow trees. And we asked the trees when we built the Shala if we could have some branches, and we were allowed to take 2 branches, and they're in the Shala here. So
I know they're beautiful. I love those trees. Are they? Have you got them on any of the pictures?
Yeah, they're on the one, but it's all lit up. He showed it just now with the mats out. And
but can you see the trees in there?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, can you?
So it brings the outside inside, doesn't it? It's like the outside.
Yeah, it brings the outside. Yeah, there they are. Over there.
Oh,
the back,
yeah.
But see the
lights.
with the fairy lights.
Yeah, no, not the fairy lights. You've got some other ones in the corners, haven't you? Must be up this end then.
Oh, they're just little bush trees. But no, you probably can't see the trees themselves in that photograph. But where the fairy lights are, they're wrapped around the trees. Yeah, there you go. There you go. They're wrapped around the trees. So the trees are in the corner, leading the inside out. So it's sort of connecting to the outside world, really. And they're curly willow. Yeah, there you go.
From a bouquet of flowers.
From a bouquet of flowers, yeah.
How romantic is that?
I know. That kind of brings the love element into it, Yeah,
because you've got a lovely deck there, haven't you? And you've got compost toilets. You've got a couple of compost toilets as well, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got compost toilets, decking out there with a little pond that, again, Matt built. So you can hear the waterfall going. We've got like a water feature. And that's nice when I'm running, if I've done a yoga class and afterwards with Shavasana, you can hear the water and it's all quiet and you can connect to that water element, which is really lovely. We've certainly got a lot of water element here today, more than enough.
Yeah, I'll be coming by boat tonight.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully it'll clear up, but not look very hopeful.
Yeah.
So you're going to give us a dong or what?
On the gongs? Of course. Would you like me to?
Of course.
That would be lovely.
I'll introduce you. Let me give you a little session. Okay. Close your eyes.
Have you ever been to the... Oh, 1 second.
Yeah, go on.
All right, look at that. Have you ever been to the Goddess Festival in Glastonbury when all the goddesses arrive from all around the planet for the festival?
Do you know I haven't, because every time I've missed it. But my teacher, who I've learned all of the goddess lessons from, she goes every year, and something's happened every year, and I've never made it. So next year I have to go. I always go to the temple.
Tell us what the gongs are. Which one's who and who's?
Okay, so this is Michael. So he's been made. He's literally a one-off, and he's got his own frequency. So he's quite deep. He connects to the throat chakra. So quite often when people come into a gong bath, they're like, and they're really embarrassed about coughing. So now I say to people when they come in, look, if you feel you want to cough, I'll be thrilled to bits, because it means the gong's working and it's opening the throat chakra. Some people last night, 3 of them afterwards were like, I keep wanting to go, but it will remove any blockages in the throat chakra. So he's quite deep, but he's one on his own. Then down here we've got Pearl. Pearl's a singer, which is why I call her Pearl. So she was given to me by a lovely lady through a friend of mine. All my gongs have come to me. I've not gone out and bought one. Oh, except for Chow hung over there. But I went and met her in a car park, this lady. I didn't even play it. And I bunged it in the back of my car. And she'd literally been in a cardboard box for 7 years in this lady's house. And she'd never used her. And gongs... Yeah, I know. I felt really sorry for her. And gongs need to be played a little bit to get tuned in. But she's fully working now. You ready? Come on, Pam. So she's got that lovely... When she plays with him, they start to connect to each other. And they start to... You'll play one. They're almost like talking to each other, and then these are starting to wake up too. And even like tonight, I'll leave them uncovered. And when we're drumming and singing, when you stop, do you remember when we have the drum circle? They'll be singing. It's incredible.
Yeah.
That's Pearl. That's Michael. He's named after the lovely guy who I got him from, who was in a wheelchair. He gifted him to me, and very sadly, he died this week. So he's really, really special. Yeah, he just arrived on my doorstep as well, as did Pearl. These two, the full moon and the new moon, these were given to me by my lovely friend Scania Price, and they were her gongs and Venus. And she'd had them at her house for a while, and she said, "I'm just not playing them. Would you like them?" I was like, "Yeah." So I love the moons anyway. So it was just great to be connected to the moon. So here you've got the new moon and the full moon. See, the full moon's quite a bit deeper. Wow. And they're actually tuned into the frequency of the moon, because everything runs by sound. So they're actually tuned into the frequency of the moon. So when I play them on a full moon, like last night, buzzing. Down here we've got Venus. Venus is great. I use my gongs in my shamanic healing as well, because of their ability to remove blocks and things like that, and also to heal the body, because everything vibrates. So within our bodies, we're mostly water, and on the top of our head, the vagus nerve is like a net which goes down through our inner ear, which has water, obviously, and then it goes down through the stomach, and from the stomach it connects to every organ in the body, every major organ. So by the gongs connecting to the water in the inner ear, and then they activate the vagus nerve, which goes into the stomach, all of that vibration is going out to all the major organs in the body. Also, the cells in the body are starting to vibrate. So it's amazing for cancer patients. Anybody that's got a cellular disease, it's incredible. Fibromyalgia, arthritis, anything like that. With those cells vibrating, it's just amazing, the healing that's coming through. That's physical. Mentally, the gongs will connect to your higher self, your spirit. So the physical body is led on the ground and the gongs are doing their stuff. Your spiritual side, your higher self, your subconscious will just go, whoosh, you're gone. You're taken away to different realms entirely. People see faces. It actually clears Akashic records as well. It can go right back through different lifetimes and remove blocks from those different lifetimes as well. So sometimes people say to me, but I saw these faces, and then I saw people dressed in strange clothes, or, you know, the images will come through. They like fly through. It's like being hypnotized where you're here, but you're not really here. So it clears the mind as well. It's great for anxiety, great for healing. And it really gives a sense of calm. And people with insomnia, it's really amazing for insomniacs, because after a gong bath, you just sleep so well. And the healing lasts for 3 days afterwards. And because I'm shamanic, I put my shamanic energy through the gong, so that's carried out on the gong. So I'm portraying that shamanic healing as well. And I'm always driven by my voice to chant when I'm playing the gongs as well. So it's not just the gongs, there'll be me, I'll be chanting or singing, or a bit like you would know, Andrena, I'll be using just a tone. I'm not trained like you in I don't know the tones, but I'll be driven to just use a part of my voice, or just a note when I'm healing. Anyway, Venus, sorry. Venus, I use a lot for feminine healing. She's the planet of love as well. And if somebody's going through a bad time, or just, you know, breakages of the heart, that sort of thing, she's tricky. Sometimes she'll play really nicely, and sometimes she is a real bitch. So here she is. Play nicely. So she's quite high pitched. That was quite nice today. She's played nicely for you. And then we've got Chow Hung. Now, I went to a festival and I'd wanted a winged gong for ages, but nobody I knew had one. So I thought, oh, well, one will come to me. I know it will come. And I went to this festival, and it was a tiny festival at Gaunt's. Do you know the one, Andrena? Yeah. And there was just about 4 or 5 stalls lined up selling things, and I just saw him. And I'm like, oh my God, it's a wind gong. It's a wind gong. So I went and I played him, and the guy, I was doing a gong bath there for people, and the guy said, do you want to take him and play him in your gong bath? And I said, oh, that's like giving someone a puppy. You're never getting that back, are you? And he did. And he did. So he connects you to the elements, very much so. And sometimes it's like hearing 1,000 voices in a gong.
Really?
And sometimes it's like being in a thunderstorm. Listen.
I can feel that going all up and down me.
So when you play them all together, so you've got him
Magic.
So just imagine that for like an hour, which is about, you play the gongs for about 45 minutes. And then after that, it's about 15 minutes where I use a lot of sounds. I use my rain stick. I use my Tibetan singing bowls to sort of bring people just very gradually back into the room, because where they've been so removed from their body, you have to very slowly bring that back. And then we usually finish with a chant, because I find that chanting is very grounding. So if you make people use their voice and you get that buzz going in the body with their own vibration, they then tune into their body again by feeling that vibration of the song through their body. So it's an hour, maybe a little bit more. I take them into a meditation before. Sometimes I'll do a shamanic journey, and I'll take them into the shamanic journey, whichever world we go to, and then I'll leave them there, and then I'll play the gongs, and then I'll bring them back out of the journey with my drums. So they've had a whole experience. So while they're in the shamanic journey, they're hearing the gongs. It's really powerful, really. It's a different experience, the shamanic journey gong bath, but I love it. Love it.
Yeah, no, I love my gong as well. So, oh, right. So, well, we're coming near to the end. So is there anything else you would like to share, or any words of wisdom before we finish up?
I did write a few notes here. Here's me put my glasses on. Just to say, yeah, I've done the day retreats. My shamanic healing is done here. I also have a yurt at the top of the land, which I use for shamanic healing as well. It depends what I'm doing, whether I need the gongs. If I need the gongs, it's in this room. But that can be booked by our website. And I like to speak to you beforehand. And then I set out a crystal grid. I'm just intuitively driven to set out a crystal grid for my client. And then when you come, you lie in the middle of that on the bed. And the grid that I've set up is always poignant when I get the person in my space. It makes sense at the end, if you like, why I pick certain crystals and why we've used them. I also do, as you know, gong baths and cacao ceremonies and goddess ceremonies. All sorts go on here. I just say to people, keep looking at our website and to see all the things that we've got going on here, because there's an awful lot. Summertime, like August, is a quiet time because people are on holiday, so there's not been much going on in August. But from September now and for the winter, there'll be all sorts happening. And I'll do another residential retreat in January and one for summer solstice next year I've got planned as well, which will be really nice. Just keep your eye on the website, really.
Yeah. Fabulous. Well, I'm looking forward to having a session with you so I can experience all these magical things. So, yeah.
I really look forward to working with your energy. It was so lovely to talk to you yesterday. And like I said to you yesterday, because you're spiritual as well, it was a real flow going back and forward. So it's going to be very exciting. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. Well, anything you want to say, Jeff, to finish off?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you once again, and thank you to Matt as well. And enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll see you this evening.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Our pleasure.
See you tonight. Bye.
Okay. And thank you, everybody. Tune in to same time, same place next week.